I'm joined now by the founder of TYT, the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, and also candidate for North Carolina's 9th Congressional District, Richard Ojeda. Thank you both for taking the time.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Brian.
Richard, you're running in a heavily gerrymandered district, as are all of the districts in North Carolina. They were scientifically engineered to prevent Democrats from being able to win. And so what's your strategy for being able to overcome those obstacles?
Well, I will tell you, putting boots on the ground is absolutely crucial. And because this is a newly gerrymandered district, 3 of the counties in this district don't even know what Richard Hudson looks like. So, we're putting boots on the ground in those areas, and we're doing quite well. Now, people are coming up to us. They know our name. They're hugging us. We've been going nonstop for the past 6 months, and I think that right there is going to be, the straw that breaks the camel's back for his campaign is that, he's not putting boots on the ground. He may show up and play a round of golf in Southern Pines, but he's not putting boots on the ground. He is the guy who told everybody else to stop the town halls. So we're having Where's Richard Hudson town halls across the district. So That's what we're going to continue doing.
Cenk, how are you looking at this moment right now as we head toward midterms, watching, the Republican Party descend deeper and deeper into these autocratic methods to, for example, prevent Democrats from being able to even win the House with these power grabs like we're seeing not just in Texas, but Indiana, Missouri, Florida, and that's just the beginning of this list, because I'm sure there's plenty of other Republicans who are going to be falling over themselves to get pats on the head by Trump.
Yeah, so I try to look for weakness on the other side and exploit it, to be honest. And so I restarted Rebellion PAC, and that's got the populist wing of the Democratic Party. So Richard's in it, and that district is perfect for Richard to win. Perfect. Okay. And Randy Bryce is running in Wisconsin 1. That's another district that's red but winnable. You might remember Randy as Iron Stash, and we got a couple other exciting candidates coming up. So the idea here is, if they're among the different problems that the Republicans have created for themselves with their greed, is that they've gerrymandered these districts so that they have slight advantages now. So that's how you get more and more districts by, concentrating Democratic voters in one area, 1 or 2 districts, and then making the other districts thinner majorities for the Republicans. Well, that leads us to Richard Ojeda, Randy Bryce, and the Rebellion PAC guys, right? So Richard closed a 54-point lead in West Virginia. That was an R plus 54 back when he was a state senator there, et cetera. Now he's from Fort Bragg, went back to Fort Bragg area, now in North Carolina. So now that it's an R plus 8, that's a walk in the park for Richard, right? So if they're going to gerrymander him, let's punish him. And our thesis is that if left-wing populism wins in these red districts, then trust us to be the candidate at the presidential level. Going establishment isn't working. You got to be populist, but do it the right way with policies that we love, that are core Democratic policies that independents love too.
If I could jump on that, Brian, veterans health care is going to be a major issue in this race. And 3 of the counties that is in my district is heavily populated with veterans. So I believe wholeheartedly that veterans will support veterans. Nobody's going to fight for veterans health care more than I will, because I'm a part of that system. And make no mistake about it, he calls himself the veterans representative, but he sat quiet while Elon Musk fired over 7,000 VA workers. And he voted yes on that big, horrible bill that's targeting 86,000 more VA jobs. And that's my care in the community. That's my veterans clinic. That's my dental care. And you know what? Veterans in my district know what's going to happen if these people get away with what they want to do. So I believe that now is a perfect time for us to be able to flip this seat from red to blue.
I have a question for both of you on that front. We often see so much inelasticity in our politics. The people who are Republicans, people who are Democrats are Democrats. You vote that way because there's an R next to your name or a D next to your name, and that's just how it goes. And it's really difficult to overcome the extent to which your partisan political affiliation is tied to your identity. Richard, when you're speaking to these people, for example, in these deep red districts, in these districts that are gerrymandered so that Republicans have the opportunity to win and that Democrats don't, how is partisan affiliation kind of factored in here? Are you seeing that people are more willing to vote kind of outside the bounds of how they voted in the past? Are they willing to look at the issues as opposed to the D or the R next to their name? How are you seeing that play itself out?
So we had a Where's Richard Hudson town hall in Moore County. And that's not the only Where's Richard Hudson town hall, but we did one in Moore County. And I will tell you that Republicans came up to me, independents came up to me and said, we like what you have to say and we're going to support you. They're not MAGA. And that's the key. We're probably never going to get these MAGA jackaloons, but there are Republicans that realize that Donald Trump is who he is. Yeah. And I think they also know that the Republican Party is going away, and that's not the Republican Party that they support. The person that ran as an independent is now actually backing me and through an event for me. So, I'm feeling like there are plenty of Republicans and independents that are absolutely willing to show up and vote this time and support a candidate like myself. And I believe that that's going to be key in being able to flip this seat from red to blue.
Yeah.
How are you thinking about this moment, especially from the media perspective?
Yeah, and absolutely, Brian. It's a terrific question. So, look, I look at it in a couple of different ways. First of all, if you want to win over the voters that went to Trump, which, by the way, you have to want that, because otherwise you're not going to win in red districts and You're not going to win the popular vote because he won it and he won all 7 swing states. That means we must win them back. Okay. And remember, not all Republican voters are the same. Richard's absolutely right. He's on the ground. He's interacting in a red district with these voters, right? You've got your radical right and you've got your hardcore MAGA. And those guys, yeah, they're in a bubble and trying to get them is a fool's errand because you're wasting your time. You don't need them. Right. What you need is the independents, and what you need is people who voted for Trump, but who earlier voted for Obama or voted for Bernie Sanders, and they've been misled. So, number one, stop insulting them. If you lump them in with the radical right and you lump them in with and you call them racist, fascist, etc., they're going to turn off. You don't want them to turn off. Number two, speak their language. So sometimes I'll get attacks from the left saying, "Oh, you're too much of a bro." But guys, there's nothing wrong with being a guy's guy and liking wrestling and football and all this. What are we doing? Are you crazy? We got to get the male vote. We got to get the independent vote, etc. There's nothing wrong with that. So the issue isn't how they talk. The issue is policy. So then the most important part, Brian, is the policy itself. Because within the Democratic Party are 6 core principles at a minimum, but we've stuck with 6 that are universally popular. Independents love them, and a ton of Republican voters like them, right? So money out of politics, anti-war, higher wages, lower drug prices, lower housing prices, paid family leave. Paid family leave is 84% overall, and it's at 74% with Republican voters because they want moms to have 12 weeks off after they have a baby. Yep. This is like we're running on mom, baseball, and American pie. I'm sorry, apple pie.
And let me tell you, what Jink is saying is spot on about how we get these people to the ballots. To the ballot boxes. There were more people that chose not to vote at all than voted for Donald Trump. We got to get these people out. And with the issues that Jink is talking about, that's what's going to bring these people out.
Well, Jink, I would challenge, there are going to be folks who are watching this and they're going to say Democrats have espoused those positions in the past. And so what's different now? Democrats all but Manchin and Sinema voted in favor of child care when they passed their iteration of this early what was it called? Build Back Better bill, early days of the Biden administration. Democrats have championed a lot of these causes, although there has always seemed to be a few thorns in the Democratic Party's side, like the Manchins and Sinemas of the world. But what do you say to those folks who say, we have those policies that Democrats have championed, most Democrats have championed, but Republicans have won the House, the Senate, and the White House, despite the fact that they have espoused those positions.
But have they? So, Brian, they have those positions. That's why Rebellion PAC is in the Democratic Party and is populist left, right? And we should be super proud of those positions because they're all of them poll at 67% or higher. The American people are totally on our side. So where does it break down? Why did we lose some of those elections? For two reasons, style and substance. Stylistically, did we emphasize those? Was our messaging built around, we're for American moms? And if you vote against paid family leave, you're against American moms getting time off after they have a baby. Did they talk clearly like this? Did they say, hey, you know what? We are totally anti-war, and we are not going to go to war with Iran under any circumstances. We're not going to put troops, boots on the ground, etc. No, they're not. They don't embrace that. Our candidates don't embrace these and champion these and be super aggressive about it. Gavin Newsom's not my favorite candidate, but these days that trolling and it's an aggressive thing that he's doing, I love it. I think that's stylistically correct, right? So now do that while you're championing these super popular policies that the Democrats have. Now, secondly is substance. You've got to actually deliver. So the reason Richard and Randy and others are in Rebellion Pack, so is Ro Khanna, by the way, and what it means is you're just joining the rebellion. You're saying, I'm actually going to do these 6 things. And there's nothing on earth that's going to stop me once I get in Congress from doing these things, not talking about it, but actually passing them. And if you can't pass a bill at 84%, you really can't pass a bill. Last thing I'll say on it is, guys, at Young Turks, we challenged the Democrats to put $15 minimum wage back in the COVID relief bill, the very first bill that Biden was proposing. Biden tried to take it out. Now we're like, you're going to lose credibility. The next time you run, people aren't going to believe you when you say you're for higher minimum wage. And then we were called heretics. No, trust Biden, trust Biden. And he took it out. And then Bernie forced it back in. They had a vote on it. And 8 Democratic senators voted against it. No, substance also has to be there. You have to mean it, and you have to pass these bills so that you improve people's lives. So the next election, people think, oh, I voted for a Democrat, and the Democrats made my wages go up or brought drug prices down. I now love Democrats. If you don't do that, they're not going to believe you.
If we want to fix this country, when we get back the power, we must right these wrongs. We must push these things that are popular by the people. That's what needs to happen. If I get up there and I start pushing things that's going to benefit people, and I find that the opposition that I'm getting is from my own side, make no mistake about it, I'm going to raise some noise, because that's unacceptable. If we want to take this country back and make this place a place that's better for our children, then we got to get into power, and we've got to use that power by making this country better.
Along those lines, Richard, Cenk brought up the idea of what Gavin Newsom's doing out in California. I've been vocally supportive of it not just because we obviously need to fight fire with fire as it relates to gerrymandering in Texas and all these other states, but because we have somebody who is showing this forward-leaning posture. And I think for so long, Democrats have been the party of strongly worded letters, and it has driven me up the fucking wall. And so how do you think about that sense of fight, that sense of being aggressive, that sense of pushing back, and that sense of kind of shedding the impotent branding that Democrats have held on to for so long as you run your campaign in North Carolina?
Look, my thing is that Democrats don't need to be weak. Democrats don't need to be apologetic with everything. Democrats need to get in here and fight. Right now, our democracy is about ready to become a dictatorship. And the only way we stop it from becoming a dictatorship is if we fight. And I mean nose to nose if we have to, putting boots on the ground everywhere and doing things like Gavin Newsom is doing. Gavin Newsom is showing everybody, especially the MAGA loons, that this is exactly what you've been supporting. You're throwing stones at Gavin Newsom, but Gavin Newsom is doing exactly what Donald Trump has been doing for the past 9 years.
Complaining that he's being childish as he's quite literally imitating Trump.
Exactly. But you know what? Some of those people are realizing they're right. This is how we do this. You know what? We don't take a step back. I am more than happy to debate with Richard Hudson. And I hope so. But he's the guy who doesn't want to, have town halls. But make no mistake about it, I will.
Cenk, what do you want to see for the future of the Democratic Party as it relates to this issue of being forward-leaning? And how are you thinking about that in terms of not just Rebellion PAC, but any Democratic candidate who's running for the House in 26, the Senate in 26, and certainly the presidency in 28?
Yeah. So, look, guys, if we are known as the party of the elites and the establishment, we're in a world of trouble. That is not a winning electoral strategy. Okay. So we have got to get back to the grassroots. We've got to get back to what built the Democratic Party and what the Democratic Party was known for the average guy, for the working guy. And so, and being aggressive, all of this is, look, all we got to do is copy FDR. The brother didn't win 4 elections by accident. Okay.
Yeah.
So number one, what did he do? He delivered. He gave us Social Security, and America loved him and the Democrats for decades after that, right?
Yeah.
And so LBJ delivered on Medicare, and then Democrats were loved because of that. Medicare.
Right. It's not enough to just do a messaging bill or get caught trying anymore if you have no intention of actually getting it done.
Exactly. When you get it done, the good news is then you're rewarded by the voters. They go, I love this. Give me more of this, right? Second of all, you've got to be like too many buttoned up guys. They now realize that that's why Buttigieg is now wearing ragtag clothes on purpose and grow out his beard and stuff. But it doesn't matter. I'll take it. Like for now, like, let's go. Let's all get aggressive. Let's all talk like normal human beings and stop like the Adam Schiff Harvard word salads. Like, guys, we got to connect to the average person, right? And it doesn't mean that you give up any of your policies. So when you're talking about the right to choose for a woman's body, so what happened? This is tyrannical government. This is big government getting in between a woman and her doctor. It's unacceptable, right? Military in the streets is un-American. That is against our Constitution. That is against our way of life. I don't want this country to be a military junta, okay? So, like, there's a way to be aggressive and still really champion democratic policies and pick the policies that are popular first, guys. You build credibility by delivering on super popular policies. Good news, it's already in our agenda. We have to fight for them. We have to get caught fighting for them. Then we have to try, and then we have to actually deliver. And we can do all of these things. And one last thing, Brian, about that. Look, part of the reason why there's only one rule at Rebellion PAC is no corporate PAC money. Because once you don't take corporate PAC money, then you're free and you're liberated to serve your voters instead of your donors. And so if you go with that, and even again, to your point, whether they're in rebellion or not, if you see someone not taking corporate PAC money in a primary, support them, because that means they're actually going to work for you.
How can we support both Rebellion PAC and Richard, your campaign?
Well, when it comes to me, obviously I have the Act Blue, but you know what? I do a lot of social media, and I absolutely tell people, share this far and wide, and the things that I talk about, like what Jinx said, on day one, that should be in Citizens United, day one, and everybody should be for that. These are the kind of things that people need to know about. We need to make our issues that the people that are going to be voting care about. And I think that that's exactly what Jake was talking about. And I think that that's what we're going to do. I'm going to continue putting boots on the ground. I'm going to continue talking to anybody and everybody. I will go and meet with a group of Republicans, because I believe that if I get to speak in front of a group of Republicans, if there's 10 Republicans, I'll convince 2 of them to go, you know what, he's right. And look, I will do that. If I win this, I'll go to Republican events just to let them know I'm here if you want to have any questions with me.
Yeah. So look, you could obviously support rebellionpac.com, but you could also volunteer, and we're a people's movement, right? So whether you're volunteering for Richard, Randy, or Ro Khanna, or any of our next candidates, you're volunteering for Rebellion, you're donating, etc. That's wonderful. But don't forget, at the end of the day, this is about the candidates. We've got to get these guys to win. So if they win, then we're golden. We win back the Congress, cut off Trump's power, and show a winning formula for 2028. So, Richard, give your website so people can make sure to help you there.
It's OjedaForNC.com. And, if you want to donate, you've got an Act Blue link. It's secure. And, that's what will allow me to continue doing what I do.
Great. And we're going to put the links to both Rebellion PAC and Richard, your campaign website as well. Highly recommend for anybody right now who's looking to help. This is a great way to do so. So again, I'll put those links in the post description and on the screen here. Yeah. Thank you guys both for being here. Jank, Richard, I appreciate it. Richard, best of luck on the campaign trail. And Jank, thank you for doing the Lord's work here on the within the toxic sludge that is the internet. So
well, thank you, Brian, and thank you, Jank.
And Brian, I just got to say, hats off to you, brother. Thank you for representing every wing of the Democratic Party. Thank you for giving voice to this populist movement. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.